And I'm going to first look to get rid of any outliers. So you can see your eye should go right here to price. And we're trying to say, okay, is there anything that's like just crazy out of left field here, like a $1 million house or like a house that's selling for like way less? And no, I mean, they're all in range. This one that hit the market that's active, we're gonna look at this. That's the highest price, which is okay. We're gonna look at this. But all of the solds, look at all the solds here. The solds are 230 to 330. And so I'm gonna look at this, and we're gonna get into that in just a second, but there's no outliers. There's none of these properties that I say, well, we absolutely have to get rid of that because that thing sold for $1 million. It's not $1 million house, and it's not a $50,000 house. So the next thing I'm gonna look at is I'm going to look at the bottom of the market and the top of the market, okay? So we have a pretty big range here. It looks like a $100,000 range. We've got a property that's, you know, similar in square footage to ours that sold all the way down at 235. So I'm gonna make a note of that. And we're gonna explore why. And then I've got a property that sold for 335. Okay, so there's my my floor and my top end prices. But we're gonna start to do a comp analysis now. Let's go see why this property on Hillendale sold for 235. So let's just check this thing out. So it took them 34 days to sell the house. They went on the market at 269. Okay, so an agent didn't know how to price the property. They sold it way down at 235 in a market where houses are selling so fast, so they overpriced it, which tells me why their days on market were so high. 34 is high right now. This is where you're gonna start to learn as you become a better listing agent and knowing the market. So it's a 3-bedroom ranch, just like our property. Let's look at the condition. So the lot is a mess. Okay, ding, 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 ding. Hopefully you guys are staying with me here. Look at the property's condition. It is pretty much a rehab. You pretty much have to go into this house and gut the entire thing. So now that we know what we know, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to our properties. This is an outlier. I'm gonna cut this one out of my pricing analysis because our property is not a rehab, and that's really bringing down the value. So let's go to this next one on Mary Knoll. Sold for 245. So let's see, that's still on the lower end. So this is a colonial. There's only 3 pictures, sold in 22 days. Same thing here, 269, they sold at 245. So their list price to sold ratio, same agent. Isn't that interesting? So this agent likes to overprice properties. And let's just see. So nothing on the inside of the home. I'm gonna keep getting some more data because I'm a detective, right? So there's no property description, there's nothing. Very, very weird listing, which again, I don't know let's see if it's a bank owned. Nope, it's privately owned, no description. Look at their list to sold price ratio, 90%. In a market right now where the average is almost 100% list to sold price ratio, there's this way, 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 way down there. So this may be another outlier. I might not include that in my CMA yet. Let's look at this other one. Okay, this is right down the street on Mary Knoll. Okay, here's a property that's almost identical to our subject property. Now, this sold in 85 days. Why is it taking so long to sell? My experience tells me that when we open up the pictures that this property is going to be super outdated as well. But let's look. 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, a little bit bigger than ours. They listed at 275, got 265. Let's take a look. So, all right, well, it's not at all. I mean, it's not super outdated. So this tells us a lot. I mean, listen, the kitchen's okay. I mean, some weird tiling here. It's not great. It looks like they ripped off a backsplash. Let's just keep digging to see why this house took so long to sell. It's not that updated. Okay, so it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It's not great. Privately owned, let's just see. I'm just looking for any type of data that might help us. I'm shocked that that house took that long to sell. I don't think it had a finish. Oh, it's on a slab. So ours is on a finished basement. Okay, so again, this is why you have to be a detective. You're looking at why is this just doesn't seem right. Well, it was on a slab. Everything else is in line. It's okay. I'm gonna put this in the analysis, but you know, it doesn't help our seller. So let's keep going. Now this one is on their street, sold at $295. Okay, so this is a ranch just like our clients. Okay, so this is almost identical house. You saw the way our house was built with the garage on the right hand side like this. This is going to tell us a lot right here. So okay, and it's not updated at all. Remember how our subject property was nicely updated. This one it hasn't been touched. It looks like in a couple decades. So this needs to be completely brought up to date. And let's just see, I bet you this is on a basement. I mean, this hasn't been touched since, I don't know, looks like the 70s, maybe 60s. These houses were built in the 50s. So this needs a lot of love, But let's just see, which is great for our seller, a non-finished basement. So let's just see. This sold in 56 days. They asked $295, they got $295. This is a great comparable. This is absolutely going to be in our analysis. So, all right, so that's a good one. We're gonna absolutely pick that property for sure. And then let's look at this one on Randolph. This is the highest sold comp in the neighborhood in the last 6 months. So it's on an unfinished basement. This sold in 25 days. I asked $339, they got $334. That's in line. Let's check it out. Looks like a Cape Cod. So not a ranch, but the setup is very similar to our property. This is right in the same neighborhood. Nice brick paver patio, 2-car garage, just like ours. Nice lot, nice landscaping. Let's see inside. Okay, inside it's nice. I mean, this is updated wood trim here. Let's look at the kitchen and baths. All right, so kitchen has no updates at all. I mean, it's decent. Nice pictures, right? That helps a lot. Hot tub inside. Hot tub inside, I mean, that makes it kind of weird. A lot of buyers are like, I don't want that in there. So that deters some buyers for sure. I just want to see the bathroom. Okay, bathrooms are nicely updated. I want to see the basement. So this is a Cape Cod. It's nice. I mean, it's nice and big. It's not crazy. I wouldn't say this is crazy updated. The bathrooms are updated and they don't have a finished basement. Again, our property has a finished basement. So right now, let me just kind of level set with you guys. We haven't looked at this active yet, but based on the solds, we know for sure this one sold at $295 this one was on a basement. Let me just remind myself. This is an unfinished basement though, right? Let's see. Yeah, unfinished basement. Okay, so I know for sure that our property is more updated than this property. I know it's got a finished basement. So already we've just established our bottom line range for our pricing analysis, which is $295, which is the bottom level. So we're gonna break through a major price threshold of $300,000. This was the first thing on my mind, is like, can we break through $300,000? Well, based on the data, no emotion, 100% certainty we can break through 300K. So 300,000 is gonna be the bottom of my pricing recommendation when we talk about a range. So hopefully you guys are all seeing that you got to the same place. As you're watching this, you can use the comments to kind of communicate with me. Let me know what questions you have. And then after I upload this to YouTube, I will go down there and answer some questions. All right, so that's my bottom line. I really want to see what's going on now with this active listing. So let's look at this. $379, they've been on the market for 2 days. I'm going to share with you guys a couple of tricks that are going to help you. All right, first off, we got a nice professional photo. That always helps a lot. So this is like a tri-level. So these typically are a little bit harder to sell. It's on a crawl and a slab. So it's interesting. I mean, their price is way up there. I mean, that other one was $335. So right now my range is at 300 to 335. Let me just, before I get into that one, let me just look at this one more time. So this is Randolph, it's bigger than ours. This is the Cape Cod, okay. So this is the Cape Cod, it's bigger than ours. Let me just go back and, so not non-finished basement. Okay, so this one was decently updated. It's 500 square feet bigger. So you gotta take that into consideration. So, I mean, this is probably my top number right now. When did this sell? So this sold in July of 2020. So, I mean, the market in inventory is lower now, which would probably have driven this price even up more. Let's go look at this active, see what's going on with it. All right. So they want 379. Okay, so let's see what's going on in here. So let's check it out. Nice and open. The layout though, for me, a lot of buyers won't even consider a layout like this because it is a buy level. They're very, very hard to sell. It doesn't appeal to a lot of buyers. Okay, so nice kitchen, right? Nice open, big layout, nice updated kitchen. Let's see what else they got. I mean, it's a beautiful kitchen. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So they've done a lot of work to the property. We're gonna now, remember I told you we're gonna come back and look at the SCV. We're gonna look at what this city is valuating this home from a tax perspective and how that relates to our subject property. So this, see how this is like a tri-level, like these, they're like 3 floors in one house. It's kind of weird. All right, so it's decent. It's decent, nice master. I just go through the photos. They got nice hardwood floors. Those are the updated floors. Great backyard. Great stamped concrete patio. All right, I mean, that's decent. It'll be, so watch this. What I'm gonna do, well, first thing I'm gonna look is, I'm gonna pull their public record and I'm gonna say, okay, well, what is the city assessing their home's value at? Well, if we look at this, the SCV, let's see when they bought it. I mean, they've been here for a long time. They don't even have the, when these people bought the home because they've lived there for so long. So this SCV is pretty low too because they haven't been reassessed for a while. They're way down at 120. Remember, our property was assessed at 143, suggesting the value of this home, of our home, should at least be this one, if not more. So let's go back here. Now, what I'm gonna do, here's a little trick. I'm gonna pull up showing time. I'm gonna say, okay, let's see. I wanna look at how many showings they're getting. Are they all blocked off with showings? Because this is gonna tell us a lot. I wanna see the traffic they're getting at this price. So if I schedule a single showing, all right, so you can see, today's Thursday. I mean, they don't have, I mean, they got some decent traffic. So all these black marks outside of this big block, this is when the seller can't show the property. All these little blocks here tell you how many showings they have. So this looks like 2 showings back to back, and then these are all individual showings. So they've got, it's decent. I wouldn't say it's crazy. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 showings. It's not bad. It's not bad. They've got 10 showings over the next 2 days. So Friday looks like a busy day for them. So they're getting traffic. You know, that's the thing, is like when you, that's what you want to look at. When you hit the market and you've seen my listing presentation, you want to know when we hit the market at X price, you expect an offer within the first week in today's market, or you expect a lot of traffic. So they're getting a lot of traffic. This is really interesting because my top line was like 330, 340. These guys are way up at 380 and there's 1,600 square feet. It's going to be, I can't wait to see what happens with this property over the weekend. And so this is definitely bringing up my bottom of my range, however. So remember, our bottom range was 300. Now that just, this just brought the entire thing up. So our range is probably more like 325. I've got to see what happens with this property over this weekend. So they went from They went from, it looks like they accepted an offer and came right back on. Let me just see. All right, so there's no notes in here. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they get an offer over this weekend. And I'll talk to the seller when I go on my appointment tomorrow. But so I'm gonna go back, and now my range is gonna go up. So now I'm probably more like 325 to 350. And this is this number, this is super high, super high. It'll be so interesting to see what they get here. It'll be really interesting, man. That's got me a little perplexed that this property is asking for so much. I'm going to take it into consideration at 375. So the question is, the thing that I'm thinking about right now as I'm doing this CMA is, I talk a lot about price bracketing, meaning, there's major price brackets in question here. We're clearly through that $300,000 threshold, which I'm comfortable with. There's another, so price bracketing means every $25,000. As a buyer searches for homes online, as you know, they're looking for houses between X price and X price in whole numbers. They don't look at homes at like $307,666 to you get the point. They look at it 325 to 425, 400 to 500, 300 to 400, 300 to 350. So we have three brackets here that potentially we're going to have to break through, which is 325, 350, and 375. Obviously I can't see us going more than 375. And so I'm just trying to really look at what our range is going to be, because 325 to 375, a $50,000 swing makes me a little nervous. At this type of price range, the range I'm trying to get into is like 20,000, give or take, is where I typically want to have my range when I'm in the $300,000 brackets, maybe 30,000 tops. So, right now, and I'm going to meet with the sellers tomorrow, I'm going to look at, and it depends what happens with this property. This property, SUV, is smaller. They have 1,600 square feet, which is a little bit bigger than ours. They got a 2-car garage. A lot is similar. It's a newer built home, still built in the 70s. It's not a ranch. Ranches are in higher demand. So I'm going to have the range, you guys, right now. I'm going to go in with a range of 350 to 375. And you kind of saw how I got to that number. This may alter. If these people get an offer at like 355, then our property might go down. Well, absolutely will go down. But right now, for my appointment, I'm going to take in everything into consideration. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to actually get my CMA. So I'm going to absolutely bring this comp. Then I'm going to grab this one on Randolph. And this one sold how long ago? Okay, this one was in August. So nothing sold really recent. And I'm going to bring this one on Vreeland. And these are going to be the three comps I go with. These other two are way too low. This needs to be totally updated. And so these are the three comps I'm going to use. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit CMA, go ahead and hit pages. So I always include, I'll show you what I include. So I always get a 3-up comparison with subject, days on market chart, and the map. I go ahead and hit finish. I view CMA. This is going to generate my CMA, and then we're going to do the net sheet together. And you're going to see, okay, how I get fully prepared. And the thing is, going through that exercise that I just went through is I know these comps inside and out, and I'll revisit those before I go on my appointment tomorrow. But now I can speak intelligently with absolute confidence with what's happening with those properties.